In this class, we'll be looking at Sauvignon Blanc, its varietal characteristics, and the crisp, refreshing styles grown in the major regions throughout the world. Let's start our look into Sauvignon Blanc with some background and history on the varietal. Sauvignon Blanc is grown around the world, but it's indigenous to France. The grape grows wild throughout the Loire Valley and southern regions within France. Sauvignon Blanc is the sibling to many famous white varietals such as Gruner Veltliner, Chenin Blanc, and even Verdejo. Sauvignon Blanc was most notably used in the conception of the white Bordeaux blend. Bordeaux is a very elite growing region and only allows very specific varietals to be used in their famous blends. Sauvignon Blanc brings brightness and fresh acidity to really heavy, dense, Semillon-based dessert wines that have become popularized by the region. Bringing Sauvignon Blanc into Bordeaux caused the most notable achievement for the varietal. It was in Bordeaux that, by a spontaneous crossing with Cabernet Franc, Sauvignon Blanc became a parent grape to the more well-known varietal Cabernet Sauvignon. There are three major styles of the wine produced. Each style is very unique to the terroir and conditions of the region in which it's produced, which just means that Sauvignon Blanc has very distinct styles based on where they are grown. The style of wine will change based on the climate and the growing region. While styles of Sauvignon Blanc vary significantly based on growing region, there are still consistent varietal characteristics that create the primary profile for the wines. Sauvignon Blanc wines are light in body, possessing medium to high acidity. The appearance of this acidity on the palate is typically sharp and serves to accentuate the tart citrus flavors that hallmark wines made from this grape. Regardless of growing region, Sauvignon Blanc wines will always show some amount of citrus flavors, specifically lemon, lime, and grapefruit. Secondary fruit flavors can appear as softer tones of melon and apple, or tropical fruits such as mango, papaya, and pineapple, but we'll look at those in more detail as we explore regional styles. In addition to the fruit, these wines will always have some green or vegetal tones. Think oregano, lemongrass, basil, and sometimes fresh cut grass. These wines are bright, fresh, and youthful, meaning they're produced to be consumed young without bottle aging. Now that we've outlined a good base idea of what Sauvignon Blanc wines are, we can begin to look at the growing regions for Sauvignon Blanc. It's important to note this is one of those grapes that grows in nearly any region. However, there are a few regions producing some of the most notable styles, and we'll focus on mastering those before we move into boutique regions and producers. The first major growing region we'll visit for this grape is New Zealand. Sauvignon Blanc owes New Zealand for its international claim to fame. When first coming into the wine industry on an international scale, New Zealand producers focused on low-cost, high-yield vineyards filled with Sauvignon Blanc. Keeping the growing region short, they were able to produce crisp, light-bodied wines with intense acidity. The palate is filled with tart, underripe citrus, think lemon, lime, grapefruit, without much fruit development beyond that. The secondary flavors are green and vegetal. Lemongrass, green pepper, and fresh cut grass. These wines have one hallmark trait, a strong tone of petrol. Typically on the nose, it's very aromatic. While these wines aren't for everyone, and the trends in the industry continue to strive away from this earlier popularized style, New Zealand continues to have a cult following for their distinctive white wines. Popular producers are Cloudy Bay, Kim Crawford, and there's always going to be a guest that prefers this style of Sauvignon Blanc. The second major style of Sauvignon Blanc can be found in the growing region of Loire Valley, France. Loire Valley is one of the most famous growing regions for Sauvignon Blanc, most notably from the village of Sancerre, so much so that Sancerre refers to a specific style of Sauvignon Blanc, more refined, aromatic, with delicate complexity and a very expressive style. The wines of Loire Valley are based significantly on the soil type found in the region. Kimmeridgian soil is a soil type that can be found where in a geological location where a sea once existed. The soil has rich deposits of minerals and fossilized seashells, which create a style of Sauvignon Blanc with slightly more body and a smooth texture, balancing some of the intense acidity found in the grape. The amount of effect this has on the final style of wine depends on where the plot or vineyard sits within the region and how rich that soil is. France is still the largest producer of Sauvignon Blanc, and Loire Valley has the highest yield of Sauvignon Blanc out of that region. The wines, regardless of where the plot sits, tend to be light in body, have high acidity, lots of citrus, with some stone fruit tones. Outside of Sancerre, where the Kimmeridgian soil is less rich, you'll find underripe peach, honeydew, melon, with lots of green herbaceous tones, green grass, dried oregano, and even some white flower aromatics. In Sancerre, where the wines tend to be higher quality, you'll find more development in that stone fruit category. White peach, you'll have some pear, more delicate tones, fennel, and that texture, the overall texture of the wine will be more smooth with some chalky tones from those rich soil deposits. The last major region we'll visit for Sauvignon Blanc is in California. California has a warmer climate, so there's a lot more fruit development, lots of bright, ripe stone fruit, specifically apricot, peach. You also have melon, apple. You'll have occasional notes of tropical fruit like mango or pineapple, depending on how long the growing season lasted. These wines tend to be riper, fruitier, more approachable, without the price tag of elite regions like Sancerre. I've detailed the By the Glass offerings on this slide. As another reminder, just continue to review those tasting notes and descriptions in your study guides on Fusion Prep.